Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amy Muirs, and I have the honor of being the CEO of the National Youth Leadership Council. That we were your host for this amazing day of learning and inspiration. And NYLC's been at the forefront of advancing service learning for 40 years. We've been providing quality resources, coaching, professional development, curricula, programs, and of course, convenings like this one that support young people in not only making positive change in their communities through service learning, but developing the skills, knowledge, and leadership to be engaged global citizens. As we've seen throughout this day, service learning is a powerful learning strategy that engages students in their education when they understand that their service is authentic, has substance over time, and can be understood in the context of learning goals. The research demonstrates the impact service learning has in the classroom, but what I believe may be even more important is that it teaches each of us to care, to engage as active citizens, and to show compassion and empathy to people in our community and around the world. Service learning supports students in becoming socially responsible, the global awareness, ready to take action on pressing issues that affect people, from poverty and education equity to economic and environmental justice. You name the sustainable development goal, like we talked about earlier with our partners from CLICE and UNESCO, young people are taking action and they're making meaningful change happen. We know service learning experiences not only benefit communities, but are supporting the development of a more compassionate and globally conscious generation. It's why gatherings like this are so important. It's a coming together of service learning leaders from across the globe, sharing ideas, experiences, best practices. We heard inspiring stories, received new resources and tools. We've had an amazing day of learning and inspiration, and I just can't thank our speakers enough for their leadership and willingness to share their insights and expertise with us. I also want to take a moment to thank our sponsors, the Charles Stewart Mott Foundation, Allstate Foundation, Shin Yuen Foundation, and General Motors for their ongoing support of NYLC, our programs, and their commitment to young people. I also want to thank everyone who's attended for everything that you're doing to create meaningful service learning experiences for your students and communities. And for every student joining us, I want to say this. So often I hear young people referred to as the leaders of tomorrow. Well, you're not just the leaders of tomorrow, you're the leaders of today. You have something unique and powerful to contribute to the world right now. Service learning is a great process to support you in developing new knowledge, skills, and experiences so that you can make a difference on issues that you're passionate about. Use the information you gain from today's forum to strengthen your commitment to make the world a better place for each of us. We need you. We need your resilience, your creativity, and your passion for change. The world's hurting in so many ways. There's war, famine, climate change, human rights violations. These are huge, huge issues, and they seem insurmountable. But each of us has the opportunity to do something that will make a difference. And together, we can make this world a better place for all of us. So speaking of making the world a better place, I have the honor of introducing two amazing young people from Colorado Young Leaders. Litzy and Emmanuel are joining us today to facilitate our final panel presentation of the day. It is my honor and privilege to welcome Litzy, Emmanuel, and our entire youth panel of young people changing the world. I'm going to turn it over. Litzy, it's your turn.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Amy. Good morning, afternoon, and night, wherever you are in the world. It's great to see you all. My name is Litzy Vasquez. I'm a senior at East High School in Denver, Colorado, in the United States. I'm also one of the two hosts for this season's Generation Collaboration. It's a podcast aiming to share a bit about how Colorado organizations are working intergenerationally. I'm passionate about food waste, the homelessness crisis, and sustainable public transport. Thank you for having me, everyone. Glad to be here, and I'm passing it on to my co-host, Emmanuel. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Emmanuel Morales, and I'm the other co-host for Generation Collaboration. I'm currently a junior at Thomas Jefferson High School here in Denver, Colorado, United States, and I am passionate about youth advocacy, education reform, and criminal justice. Lizzie and I would like to welcome all of you to today's closing session of the 2023 International Service Learning Forum.
Throughout the day, we've had the opportunity to hear from amazing leaders around the world, from South America to Singapore to Qatar to Argentina. It has truly been an international experience.
To close out this days of learning and inspiration, we have an amazing youth panel made up of phenomenal leaders from across the globe. Before we jump into our questions, we would love for you to each introduce yourself by sharing your name, grade, country, and in 2 words, something you're passionate about. Grace, let's start with you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. My name is Grace. I am currently a sophomore in high school from New York in the United States, and something I'm passionate about is gender equality.
Amazing. Iara?
Hello, everyone. My name is Yara Bravo. I'm from Buenos Aires, Argentina, and I'm in 4th year of high school in Inmaculada Marista. I am new with the whole world of service and learning, but I want to get more involved and make a difference in the people of my school and my community.
How about you, Mercedes?
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. I'm Mercedes Kovac. I am from Buenos Aires, Argentina, and I am going to be transitioning my last year of high school next year. I'm really passionate about education. I think it's something so important for everyone around the world, not matter the age or the place where you live. It's something that you need to strengthen your heart and your soul. So yes, pleasure to be here.
Thank you all for coming to the forum today. I can't wait to learn more about each of you. It's so cool that you all care about such amazing things around the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And young people around the world want to make meaningful change happen, whether they are addressing education equality, climate change, economic development, or any number of social justice issues. Each of you guys, the panelists, are doing such impactful work, and our young people yourselves. So thank you for your contribution. Having said that, let's jump straight into the questions for you. As you guys are aware, the panelists will have 1 to 2 minutes to answer just so we can get to everyone. So let's start with Grace and then move on to Yara. So the question is, what motivated you to get involved in service learning, and how has this experience impacted your personal growth or perspective on the world?
Thank you so much. That's an amazing question. So, for background context, I've grown up in suburban New York, and as a first-generation immigrant, I've really witnessed firsthand the power of education in changing people's lives. My family's lives were changed by education and access to it. And so, when I was the only girl on a research team in my local community, I was shocked and hurt from that experience, and that's how I became motivated to fight for gender equality and education equity. And then when I was introduced to NYLC and became one of their youth advisory council members, I became involved in service learning. And let me tell you, this experience has absolutely changed the trajectory of my personal growth and world perspective, because it's really allowed me to have not only more of a cross-cultural understanding through collaboration across countries, but also it has led me to understand more why it is so important to have a positive attitude and hopeful attitude towards our future. And personally, learning from service learning leaders who are so inspirational remind me of what amazing things we can do to make the world better together.
Thank you so much for sharing, Grace. That's really impactful, actually. Yara, do you have your own perspective you'd like to share on this?
Yes, thank you. Well, it all started when I went to a conference about service and learning in August, and there I met Amy. And I learned so much things that I just didn't know about. A lot of concepts and what is the real meaning of service and learning. And it just changed my mind completely. It really made me think about what can I do to help the people of my community and what is the real problem in my community, what can I do to solve it. And now I think I'm going to do a lot of things to help that. And my school is hard, but it doesn't have a lot of help from other people and doesn't know a lot about service and learning. So I want to start something and I want to help the students of my school.
That's a really awesome thing to do. And I appreciate both of you guys for answering that. Moving on, Mercedes and then Grace for this question. What's a specific learning project or experience that was meaningful to you, and why was it meaningful?
Well, thank you, Bitsy. Service learning experience that we had at my school was about donating blood. It was taught to all of the students how the blood was drawn, where it went to a blood bank we have here, really important in Argentina, that is for a child's hospital. So it was really incredible to see people come and teach us about us. And then we sent our information and all of this to other people to make them come to this donation. It was a really successful event, and we're hoping to make it again next year.
Incredible. Thank you for sharing. For Grace, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, of course. And by the way, Mercedes, I am so inspired by your experience and I'm so happy to hear about your service learning experience. For me, it would be my passion project, which is my service learning project, Research to Empower, which is a nonprofit that I founded. And basically, it's so meaningful to me because like I mentioned before, I was the only girl on a research team, and many times when I tried to pursue my own research project, I found that so many research programs, especially in the United States, were not only available to people in a certain age range that was usually much higher than I was, and then also the pricing was often very, very outrageous for these research programs. And the reason why it's so meaningful to me now is because so many of my peers and people in my age group in general are trying to start their research projects because it's been shown how meaningful learning how to do proper research can be in this era of so much misinformation. And so when I saw these gender and racial barriers to learning research, I knew that I had to do something about it. So I founded my organization to support and empower aspiring young researchers and to make research really accessible and fun to everyone. And the way that this is really a service learning experience is because I was not only learning my own research and learning how to teach research, but also I was giving back and giving service to my own community. And I feel that service learning gave me the tools to take action for meaningful change, which is the core theme of today.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing those.
Sorry,
amazing
I also wanted
experiences.
to share. That's really impactful, and I'm very inspired by that. It'd be great if you could put in the link for maybe your nonprofit. I'd love to check it out. Sorry, go ahead, Emmanuel.
No problem. But yeah, thank you for sharing those experiences. I know that in Generation Collaboration, we hear stories from different organizations talking about issues Colorado faces. And from that, I have expanded my perspective on the issues we face and also how we can work together between generations to fix those problems. So my question for Iara and then Mercedes is, how has service learning influenced your understanding of local and global issues?
Well, in the conference we went, they taught us how can you solve a problem. And we heard a lot of different stories from all around the world, and it made us think that maybe we are not in the same place, but we can help other people, even though we are not them. And it just made me feel really concerned about all of these people that is suffering from something. So yeah, it just made me think about that, and I think it's all about that, and how can you help people who are not in the same country as you or in the same place, but needs help.
Yeah, thank you. How about you, Mercedes?
Well, really, it's all that Yara said, but I would like to add that it really makes us start to analyze the issues that we found in our daily lives and start to find the root of it. And then from then start making a plan. It really changed our minds. Before we would just say, oh, there's a problem and that shouldn't be a problem. It should be this way. But thanks to service and learning, we started to think, how, but where is this problem coming from? How can we actually solve it? It was awesome.
Thank you for sharing. And yeah, I also found a similar message as you, that we need to help people no matter where they're located in the world. So I appreciate you bringing that up today. So the next question is, how does service learning experiences contribute to shaping tomorrow's future and the people of the next generation? So let's go with Yara and then Grace. Yara, let's start with you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, I think it changed your perspective of the world and the community. And I think, for example, I want to be a doctor, and I know that it's already a job that helps people with their problems and their diseases. But after the experience of serving and learning, now I just don't think about feeling good with myself or with that people. Now I want to make something. I want to make a change, and I want to solve the problem that is causing all these people to have illness. And I just hope that this happened to everyone who wants to have a job or just who wants to do something for the country or for the world. And I think it's all about that.
Yeah, I think, yeah, you really accurately described what service learning can really teach us. It's to shape our communities for the greater good and keep a perspective of service and volunteering, which is really bringing in that element of empathy and kindness to people. And I think in our world where, like Miss Amy in the beginning, as she introduced us, talked about, we live in a world where there are so many problems and so many people are very polarized in their viewpoints. And a lot of the times I think service learning is really so valuable because it can teach us, at least for me personally, it taught us how to better listen and remember other people's points of views, which is so important for a more sustainable future and a future that is more inclusive and understanding for as many people as possible.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, I think, service learning to help others.
Yeah, service learning has helped affect the communities all around the world and has helped change communities. But my question is for Iara and then Mercedes is, how do you think service learning has affected your personal development, such as leadership skills, teamwork, or problem solving skills? Iara, let's start with you.
Yes. Or first of all, I learned how to talk in front of younger people, like people who are 7 years old or 10 years old, and how to express myself in a way that everyone can understand what I'm talking about. I know it's a hard concept to learn about service and learning, and I think that if you can say it in a way that children can understand, you are doing something good. And yeah, it made me improve all my skills like teamwork also, because I had to work in a group. And even though we have difficulties and there are problems that we have to solve, we learn how to solve the problems, and that's what really make us improve our skills.
Thank you for sharing. How about you, Mercedes?
I had always liked to talk in front of people. I always wanted to be the leader, but service and learning really helped me to find the strength to motivate my partners, my teammates, to have a commitment to the reason we are working together. Because it doesn't matter if you're the leader and you say, "Oh yes, let's do this," and the work gets done, but it isn't actually genuine, the point of it.
Yeah, service learning has helped shape not only the communities, but also us individually. Those are amazing abilities you guys have learned.
Wonderful. So we've definitely touched on this question a bit more, like because it's all like intertwined. But for Lara and Laura and then Grace, can you share any memorable moments or stories from service learning experiences that had an impact on you or the community?
Yes. Well, recently, students from second year did a donation in our school from homeless people. And I was shocked because they are so young, or at least younger than us, and they did a lot by themselves. Of course, with a little bit of help, but they were the principal, they were the main characters in that donation. And it just really made me think they're awesome. And if they can do that, we can do more things, and maybe together we can do more things and more awesome things. So yeah, it was a really nice experience, and I hope that other students from other years can do something similar to help the school.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. Grace, do you have anything to add in your own perspective?
Wow, I think it's hard to top Yara's story. I would say a really memorable moment for me was when I was, and there have been a lot of memorable moments in service learning experiences, and I think that's part of the beauty of it because it can be so impactful not only on your community but also on ourselves, the people who are doing the service learning. I would say is when it was the first time where I held a live in-person class for younger kids to teach them how to do research, and just seeing their faces like light up with joy when they learned something, or they suddenly had like a light bulb moment, like something just clicked for them, and then seeing them talking to each other about it and sharing it with their parents and sharing it with their friends. It was just really a key moment that not only brought me immense joy and made me definitely realize that, wow, this is something that I want to do for the rest of my life. But it's also a moment where I realized that service learning, just truly understanding how tangible and visible the impact can be, and it's why it matters to me so much.
Wow, thank you for sharing. That's incredible.
Yeah, thank you for sharing those memories. My question for Grace and Niara is, how can service learning programs better connect youth with their passions and interests? Grace, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. I think it's really, really important too. And from personal experience, I would say that when I was trying to find my passion, because this is a very big question, and a lot of times our passions and interests can change and evolve over time, which is why, but it's still important to have a passion and interest in something that you know you want to work towards. And how we can kind of connect youth in these programs, I would say first is to encourage exploration and give them some time to do a bit of research and really experiencing it for themselves. And a part of that can be having them do, for example, reflection activities and letting them ask themselves what are the problems or issues that have really shaped our lives and what has had an immense impact on the people that they become today. Like, really, what are those key moments in your life that they remember and feel that those issues really, from the bottom of your heart, truly matter to them for whatever reason or motivation? Because I think passion, I mean, it's a part of the definition, but for us to really want to continually and in a sustainable way work on these service learning projects is to have that passion where it comes from within, and it's truly something that has meant a lot to us.
Thank you for sharing. That was very insightful. Yaro, what would you like to add?
Well, as Grace said, it's an important question, but I think it's really hard to answer because it depends on the people. For example, in Argentina, children usually disrespectful adults, and that's a big problem. And maybe and they're not really interested in different topics like service and learning. They don't think about is playing games. So I think that if the programs connect with the the children or students and make them passionate about something and show them the reality, it's the way that I connect with all these people.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, this is a bit unrelated, but in my service learning experience, I was once a part of an internship called Factory Farming Coalition Institute, where essentially I would go in and learn about factory farming and how horrible it was to those poor animals. And something that I learned while I was there is like how to talk in front of people, because I would do meetings like every week, how to, well, publicly speak too as well, but also how to become a compassionate and confident person in myself and to not doubt myself so much. So similarly, Grace and then Mercedes, have you had any key takeaways or skills that you've gained from your service learning experience? And do you think they'll be valuable? Sorry, do you think that they'll be valuable in your future endeavors?
I think you hit it right on the bullseye with that story. Like, I couldn't put it or tell it any better, because truly public speaking is something that is a key skill that I've gained from my service learning, and definitely I think it's hugely valuable in anything I do in the future, because knowing how to communicate your thoughts in a clear and professional way can carry to any aspect of your life. Because in order to get our thoughts across and then get our needs across, we want to be able to have those communication skills. And I would say another key takeaway and skill is to really be well organized and learn how to stay self-motivated throughout, because like any journey, there will be so many ups and downs. There will be so many moments where you might even question yourself, like, oh my goodness, this is so hard. Why am I still doing this? I know I have had those really crucial moments, and then learning how to bounce back and understand why you may be feeling that way and how you can help yourself maybe feel better and then feel more motivated again is a really important takeaway and skill that I've gained from my service learning experience that I think can be applied to a lot of areas in my life as well.
Absolutely. I agree with like everything you said. Like, you also hit it right on the bullseye, as you put it. Mercedes, do you have anything to add in your experience?
You're both living without words, definitely. You're both saying everything that is needed to say. But I will also think that in my experience, I had to get critical thinking outside of the empathy that you feel in front of a really hurtful issue that you see in your community. And you had to get into it without just feeling the need to help. You have to think about what you can do to help. So that was a really hard moment for me. I have always wanted just to help, and I didn't think how to, and this has been the point of it all.
Thank you for sharing all those many key takeaways that are taken from these experiences. I know in this other organization that I'm part of, Skills USA, they integrate themselves more effectively into the school curriculums by having career and technical education classes that they can take to better learn skills that they need in order to succeed in their workforce and the workplace. So my question for Iara and Mercedes is, how can service learning experiences be integrated more effectively into school curriculums to benefit more students?
Well, I think it's a really good question. Um, in our school, both of us have done some kind of talks to other students, younger students, where we explain what is service and learning and the meanings of the concepts and all of that. And a lot of other students were really interested in that. And they even suggested some things that we can do for next year. And I think that really helped and it worked. So maybe next year we can share some other experiences that we have done.
Thank you. Mercedes?
Well, I also think that it would be really good to acknowledge the whole project, all the work that went into it, the thinking, the calculations that it had to get done, so that they also know that, hey, the bump that you are finding is not going to be the end of it. You're going to keep going and you're going to finish it and you're going to get an amazing result.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys so much for sharing. We are, I believe, onto our final question, or at least close to it. But I would like to ask, there's despite being so young, you guys have already done so much. Like, it's truly inspiring and empowering for the youth. But some people would consider being young a takeaway, like something bad. But what do you have to say to people who underestimate the power of the youth? Oh, sorry. And that is for Grace and then Mercedes.
I think this is an extremely, extremely important topic, and I have personally faced people who have, questioned me saying, "Oh my goodness, you're so young. Like, why are you doing this work? Like, shouldn't you be doing so and so other things and whatever?" And then just really, and I think that can be really, really discouraging. And for those people, I would say, well, I remember a quote from UNICEF really nicely sums up how I feel. It's one of my favorite quotes. And it's that it goes something along the lines of, young people, we not only represent the future, but we are also one of society's main agents of change and progress. And after all, there are like billions of us in this world. And I think the current trend is that we're becoming more and more aware, especially us young people, how many problems and challenges our society faces. And that's why there's been so many more of us who are united here today and in many places around the world too, who aren't afraid to break barriers, who aren't afraid to provide solutions to these societal challenges and for these problems that are really impacting so many people. And that's why it's so important for us as youth to not let those people who try to underestimate us hinder our growth. And for those who try to underestimate the young people, I think we really just don't want to shoot ourselves in the foot.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was waiting for my turn to be said. Oh my God. Yes, Grace, totally what you said. Um, I have been witness of my life of what the youth can do, how one person can really motivate all of them. Even if we don't want to meet with humans are really a social group. We follow what we think is right, but if we start thinking about it and questioning it, then we can make a change. And us youth are the most capable people of doing that. Truly, it's always amazing to see, because when you think of change, you think, oh, it's going to take so long, but we're young. We have the time to make the change and to start it and to end it and see it all through. And it just brings me so much hope for us.
Yes, as stated before, we're not only leaders for tomorrow, we're also the leaders of today. So thank you all. I want to thank each of you for joining us here today, and for all of you to help tackle our world's most pressing challenges. I learned so much from each of you, and I know we're all leaving inspired to make a positive difference in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you again, everyone, for joining this panel session. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here and be your moderators today. I know I had a good time. With that said, Emmanuel and I are going to turn over this session to NYLC, because I said it wrong last time, CEO Amy Mewers, turn us out. Thank you.
Let's see, Emmanuel, Grace, Yara, Mercedes, thank you guys so much for a phenomenal discussion. I think anyone listening to you today, they're never going to underestimate the contributions that young people are making. Your insights, experiences, and passions are a true reflection of the amazing young people who are leading us today. On behalf of NYLC, I also want to extend a warm and heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you who gathered here with us today. We were fortunate to have representatives from diverse backgrounds, cultures, and professions, all converging with a shared purpose: to provide quality service learning to young people so they develop as civically informed and engaged global citizens who are ready to forge pathways towards a more just, sustainable, and peaceful future. The spectrum of expertise and perspectives that was presented today is a testament to the richness of this global service learning community. And again, I really want to express sincere gratitude to all of our participants, speakers, sponsors, and staff members who have contributed to the success of today's forum. And with that, we end today's forum and invite each of you to join us next spring in St. Paul, Minnesota, April 3rd through the 6th, 2024, at the 35th Annual National Service Learning Conference, and again in St. Paul, Minnesota. We hope we will see you there. Remember, lightning talks, student showcases, and awards are still open. So please check out nylc.org and get those applications in. Until we see you in the spring, thank you.